If you're using another sky lift, always remember your safety pin, and then to lower the sky lift onto that pin, which we do by just adjusting this, and there we go. So you don't need a sky lift to do an oil and filter change, but it does let me get my camera underneath so you can see what's here. So we've got the oil filter tucked up here, and they're quite hard to get at, which is why you need a special tool. And this is the drain plug. It's in an unusual position for a bike, but this is your drain plug, and that's a 13mm nut. But before we start, we want that oil to flow freely, so we're going to warm the bike up. So I'm just going to run the engine for 5 minutes or so, and then leave it for another 5 minutes, and then we'll drain the oil. So it's the engine up to temperature, so I'll just leave that engine to cool down now. So this is the tool for removing the oil filter, and it's got a 1/2 inch square drive in the top, so you put your wrench on there and hopefully we can get that off. This should come off easy, but a lot of people over tighten them or don't put lubrication around the o-ring when they put them on, which means they can be troublesome to get off. Oh, that's just my immobilizer, the most annoying thing on the bike, but it might save it one day, who knows. So there are alternative oil filters. This is a K&N one. Again, it's for this model of bike, and it comes with a, I think it's a 17mm nut on the top, which makes it really easy to get off. But I'm putting Triumph parts on here. Right, once that's cracked open, which it is, it should be finger tight to get off. And what we try and do is keep hold of the bolt. Now the way I do this is I push against the hole, then you feel when it's completely loose, and then we can just let that out, and you'll get a handful of oil, which is why I say wear gloves. Right, we'll just let that drain and hope it doesn't fall all over the place. So that's most of the oil out. The next job we're going to do is try and get the oil filter out. So this goes on the oil filter, then we just undo it like a normal nut. Now obviously there's more oil comes out as you take the filter off, and it gets very slippy. Alright, that's the messy bit over, so I'm just going to clean everything up, and then we can look at refilling it. So here we have the new oil filter, and we are going to fit that the same way as we took the old one off. That goes on there, we just screw it up, but I am going to put a little bit of oil in the filter and around this o-ring. So that's ready to be fitted. I'll try not to drop it. So that's the new filter in place. Need to wipe everything down to make sure there's no leaks. But that's in, and that's hand tight. Next job, replace the drain plug and then fill her up. So you can buy new washers, and it's recommended that you do change them. So that's the old and the new. You can see they're the same. So we'll put the new one on, and then we're just gonna pop that in place. Now before I torque that up, I'm just gonna wipe everything down. Right, this is the oil fill plug, and there is no sight glass on these bikes, so we know we need 3.5 litres. So I'm going to put 3 litres in and then keep measuring it. When you fill an oil up, it's important you don't put too much. It's probably more important you don't put too much in. Having it a tiny bit low is not the end of the world, but if you put too much in, all the working parts of the engine will froth that oil up into a foam, and it won't be able to get around the engine and it'll seize. But you really need to use your dipstick and slowly get it to the right level. Quick check on what's left in here. So there's 2.5 litres left in there, meaning we put 1.5 in, halfway there. So we're just wiping the dipstick clean. I'm going to put it in. I know the bike's not perfectly level, but we'll fine tune this when we get it off the stand. I'm going to open this up. And there's no oil on there, so we need to put more in. So according to the bottle, we've put the full 3.5 litres in now. Give this another. You check the oil level with the dipstick screwed fully in. If we pull that out now, you can see there's oil on there. So that's done. So basically, that's the oil and filter changed. That's the job done. So that's part 1, oil and filter change. Part 2 is going to be stripping down the rear wheel and the chain adjustment assembly, cleaning it up, checking it's okay, re-greasing all the bearings, putting that back together, and while I've got the back wheel off, I'm also going to check the rear brake caliper. So all of that's to come. The full 12,000 mile service is to come on this. If you like what you see, if you've got a Tiger Sport 1050, or I think the Speed Triple is very similar, why not stick around, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you later.